Yes, good, excellent. Um, well, I hope you've all enjoyed playing the hands that we had this evening, and well done to all those Irish people who seem to head the list. What we're going to do now is I have picked out 5 hands which I particularly wanted to talk about because I thought they were interesting, and I'll talk about those and try and answer your queries if you have queries related to those particular hands, and then afterwards you can give me some, ask about different hands. So we're going to start with board 5. Right. Well, there are a few interesting things about this hand, I think. The first is that this seems to be a modern day favorable vulnerability preempt. I don't know how many people did preempt, but it's a normal 3-club opening these days. So well, when I say normal, it's obviously very aggressive, but it does seem to cause more problems than it creates for your own side. On this particular hand, of course, it's not creating any problems for North-South, who aren't the least bit interested, but I'm sure that most West would bid 3 no trumps over this 3-club opening bid, and that would silence everybody. Now, 3 no trumps is quite difficult to beat, actually. Obviously, on a heart lead, it would be very easy to beat, but I think a heart is the least attractive lead on this hand. And I think a lot of people probably would choose the 7 of spades or some sort of spade that, whether you play attitude or fourth or whatever, you choose the 7 of spades. And now it's a question of what South's card should show. For me, if South would surely beat the Queen of Spades if South could. So I would have thought that South's card should be a suit preference signal here, but this is obviously a matter for most partnerships to sort of decide for themselves. So I would be playing the 9 of spades to this trick, and West will be winning the ace probably. And now West would play a club. 1 perforce by North. And now North should know that they should switch to a heart. And now 3 of trumps will go down. But I suspect that a lot of places it wasn't going down. It's easy enough to continue with spades, but actually, maybe you would think that the spade was attitude at trick 1, but I just don't get it. If you can't beat the queen, how can you actually like the suit? So now it would go. So I don't know if anybody had any problems about this, any particular thing they wanted to say about this actual hand. I suppose that even if East doesn't open 3 clubs, West will open a strong no trump, and East will bid 3 no trumps probably. Well, actually West's a bit good, isn't it? So it's likely to go a club from West past 3 clubs from East past 3 no trumps from West, I would imagine. Is South? Well, I guess there is a possibility that South has Jack 6 of spades, but it has to be anti-odds, I think. What should you lead as South? Well, again, you could maybe lead the 8 of spades perhaps to start with, but when North can't win the first trick, it again looks to me like it should be a suit preference signal. But of course now North, that's the problem, isn't it? North's going to suit preference for a diamond probably. So that's not so easy. Maybe it's harder to beat it. With that, I suppose would have gone a diamond pass a no trump. I actually, when I play strong no trump type systems, and I play a diamond's always 4. It depends how you play a diamond, but if I play a diamond's always 4, I like to not play inverted raises because I like to be able to raise 1 diamond to 2 on hands like this East hand, which aren't good enough to bid at the 2 level, even as a passed hand, but don't really want to have to bid 1 no trump. And obviously you can't bid more than 2 diamonds. I didn't bid 3 clubs. I didn't. Oh, two. Well, after a 2-diamond opening that meant both majors. So South opened 2 diamonds to show both majors. Well, I suppose you'd bid 2 no trumps as West, would you? I think it's simplest to show a sort of strong balanced hand as much as you want to. I don't know. There's lots of raised hands, but I think I'm not actually talking to people. I think you have to sort of type in a message, which I should try and answer if you want to say something to me. Anything else before I move on to the next hand? Right. Ah. Okay. Right. Okay, then I will move on to the next hand, which is actually hand 6. Okay, I thought this was quite an interesting bidding deal. So no doubt the bidding will start. A club from East, pass, a diamond from West. And again, we're back into the making life difficult for people, right? I mean, I know it's horrible, but you're at favorable vulnerability. You just want to take space away. So I would be bidding 2 hearts here. And that raises a lot of questions that East West need to deal with in this type of situation. For example, if East bids 2 spades, is this hand good enough for 2 spades, or does 2 spades still show a reverse? And if East passes and it goes past, how can West set up a force in diamonds? I mean, they don't really want to bid 3 hearts and take up all their own space away, especially when they've got a double heart stop and don't necessarily want to go past 3 no trumps. So maybe West doubles 2 hearts. And now East bids 2 spades, okay? And now if West bids 3 clubs, is that forcing? All sorts of questions, or 3 diamonds, is that forcing? There are a lot of difficult competitive sequences that you need to agree. I tend to play that just bidding another suit is not forcing. I can double and bid something, or I can Q bid their suit, and that makes things forcing. Because here 6 clubs is an excellent contract. I think when I saw it, 1 pair bid 6 clubs and 1 pair bid 6 diamonds. Right, I don't know. Did anybody hear any of that? Sorry, I don't know quite what happened. My screen went blank and everything disappeared. Do I need to talk about, you missed all that hand, right? Okay. So the bidding will go a club from East, pass from South, a diamond from West, and we're back to this making life difficult for the opponents again. I know it's horrible and it's a horrible hand, but you're at favorable vulnerability and you want to get in the way. So for me, this is a 2 heart. This is a 2 heart overcall. And as you will see, whoops, hang on. As you will see, this raises a lot of problems for East West. The first problem is, should East bid 2 spades or not? Is it show a better hand than this? If he bids 2 spades, does it also show that she has real clubs? In my opinion, it would show real clubs, and it ought to be a bit better than this. But I'm going to bid 2 spades on it anyway, because I want to make, at least I've shown my clubs now as well. And now West wants to make a forcing bid, and he hasn't really got a forcing bid to make. I mean, if 3 clubs is presumably preference, 3 diamonds would be weak. I mean, all he can really do is bid 3 hearts, which isn't very helpful at all. Now maybe East perhaps can bid 3 spades. You need to have agreements about whether these sort of sequences always show 6-5 or whether they're just sort of economical. If he bids 3 spades, and then maybe they can play in 3 no trumps or 4 clubs. It's quite the 2 heart bid makes a lot of difference. If North doesn't bid 2 hearts, if he passes, then East will bid 1 spade, and it will have shown the club in the English style anyway. Will have shown clubs and spades already. So it's just shows you how difficult the 2 heart thing makes. The 2 heart bid makes things. If it was to go a club, a diamond, a spade, 2 hearts, 4th suit, 3 diamonds maybe, West, it's much easier. We've taken out a couple. We've taken out anyway. It's just made things a lot more difficult. So that's really more or less what I've got to say here. Could West bid 4 clubs after 2 spades? Yes, West could bid 4 clubs after 2 spades. Well, West could bid 3 no trumps, but West hasn't really begun to explore the slam possibilities on the hand. If partner's got at least 5 clubs and a decent sort of opening bid, it's very easy to see. Well, as the hands are, 6 clubs is an excellent contract. If East opens 1 no trump, I think East could open 1 no trump, and I like doing it. If the spades and hearts were changed round, I would open a no trump happily. But I just think it's too flawed. You can bid clubs and then spades, but I mean you've got no heart stop, and it might be wrong siding it, and you've also got potentially very good playing strength that you're not going to be able to get across. What if he opens 1 no trump? I don't hear you. Oh. Okay. Right. Anything else to say about this hand, or shall we move on? Okay. So I want to share. The next board is board 7. This was. Why wouldn't? Right. So, well, the reason West wouldn't bid 3 no trumps after his partner's 2 spades is that West has too good a hand. You're missing a slam. I mean, a slam is excellent, and you want to be able to explore it. Anyway, moving on to board 7. The bidding, I'm sure, all the way around the room will go a spade, pass, 2 spades looks normal here. And now what should East bid? Again, I looked at how some people bid it. Some people bid 3 diamonds, and then later on they bid 5 diamonds. I mean, I would probably put this one to them in one go, bid 5 diamonds. I like 5 diamonds. It puts it to them before they've had any chance to explain. It's going to be difficult for them to double without any diamonds. And then they've got to decide what to do. What should South do? Well, it's very difficult, and that's why we bid 5 diamonds. And I saw that a lot of people, some people bid on to 5 spades, and that's exactly what East wanted them to do. And 5 spades should go down quite easily on a diamond lead across to East, and then the jack of clubs to the ace and a club ruff. So 5 spades should go down. I don't think South has a good enough hand to think that. I mean, you wouldn't really bid game after 1 spade past 2 spades. You'd make a game try. And you shouldn't really let the opponent's preempts make you do more than 1 level higher than you would have done otherwise. I was quite surprised at how that I think nobody, well, I'm glad you've got this 5 spades to make it, but I'm glad that no pair beat 5 diamonds too. And that seems really strange to me, because you'd lead the king of spades and presumably partner would give you count on the king. That's a normal thing to do. So I don't know why you wouldn't switch to a trump. And then you can put partner in and get another trump. I mean, it just looks like I can't really see why there would be any danger attached to that. You've got the king, queen of clubs to stop that suit. You've got the ace of hearts. You can put partner in with the ace of spades to draw the second trump, and then that's 500. And at teams, that doesn't really, that's a positively good board. Well, I think it's right to bid. And what happened when you bid 5 diamonds right away, Marichal or Nicole? Or it's generally right to think how many of some things you want to bid. Maybe bid 1 more the first time, but then shut up. Otherwise, you find you put the opponents under pressure. They do the wrong thing, and then you undo all your good work by saving when you shouldn't be, and that sort of thing. Well, yes, I mean five. I mean that pass. They've done quite well to pass. Quite a few pairs bid on to five spades, and yeah, maybe you can make it, but I'm not quite sure how you would normally make. I mean, five spades look like you get a diamond lead, and the club rough just looks like it's completely clear. Yeah. Well, whatever. Five five spades should certainly have gone down, as should, and five diamonds should have gone two down. I'd probably double on either. Well, over five diamonds, I'd probably double on either hand. I mean, I wouldn't feel I had to double as North, but I've got an ace and a king, and partners opened the bidding. And as South, I'd probably double because I worry that we might be making four spades, especially if I play reasonably good major suit raises. Okay, I am going to move on to the next one, which is board 12. Oh, I thought this was. Well, somebody says with an 8-card suit, you should only bid to the 4 level, especially when vulnerable. Yeah, maybe you should, but it's such a pure hand when you've got 8 solid in a suit that it's. I mean, I wouldn't argue with 4 diamonds, except just know that if you bid 4 diamonds, it's effectively a transfer to 4 spades. It's South's probably going to bid 4 spades on practically any hand they would dealt. That's just got a bit of hope about it. And now you've no idea what to do. I would be thinking, looking at that hand with 8 diamonds, that they're going to be bidding 4 spades, and I want to bid 5 diamonds to make them guess whether or not to bid 5. Okay, well, the first question here is what West should open. I mean, you might open 1 spade or you might open 2 clubs. Either are sort of, would have their votes. I don't feel terribly strongly which you should do. Suppose for the moment, well, let's see how it goes either way. So you'd bid 2, if you open 2 clubs, North would pass, and East would bid 2 diamonds. I thought the Souths were very, very conservative here. I mean, surely this is worth 3 diamonds. I mean, you've got a fantastic hand. I mean, if it was a natural auction, you'd bid 3 diamonds. You've got sort of at least 5 tricks in your own hand, which looks pretty solid. And you think they're going to bid spades any minute. You'd like to get the diamond lead in. Not one partner leading a silly old club or something. So I definitely think it's a clear 3 diamond bid. West would bid 3 spades. And now, well, I don't know what partner's doing, but even whatever the vulnerability, if partner's bidding 3 diamond and I've got 6 card support and 2 singletons, I'm certainly not bidding less than 5 diamonds. And again, this raises some issues. Now, East clearly wants to bid 5 spades, but because this had been a 2 club opening, it's a forcing auction. East-West can't pass 5 diamonds out. So East has several options. They can either bid 5 spades immediately, they can pass, and when partner doubles 5 diamonds, they can then bid 5 spades, one of which should be stronger than the other. Now, I think that passing and pulling partners double to 5 spades is stronger, but I'm not quite sure my partner and I have ever discussed exactly how strong. I mean, this is really strong in playing strength, but pitifully weak in terms of points. So, it's not entirely clear, but I think I would go for the 5 heart, the pass version, and then it'll go pass, double, pass, 5 spades, pass. I reckon West's going to pot 6 spades by now. Partner's shown some interest. And now North has to decide whether to save. Well, the vulnerability is wrong for saving, but with such amazing, I mean, presumably partner knew they were vulnerable against Not when they bid 3 diamonds in the first place. I would be very tempted to bid 7 diamonds here, but it's easy when you can see all 4 hands, isn't it? Well, I suppose somebody double. And I think it's just 800, so it's cheaper. So the slam is cold, and the save is only 800. So we could start again and look if it's any easier when you, oh, hang on, I need to put some passes in. I mean, if it starts with one spade, I think I'm not so sure that it's inherently going to make such a lot of difference. But let's have a look. One spade, pass, 4 spades. Favourable vulnerability. I think you would, wouldn't you? Well, that's going to shut South up, and I should think. Well, West might bid 5 diamonds to just try and get a heart cubed out, and after a heart cubed, they'll bid 6 spades. And I think that North South are just never ever going to find the save. So it's interesting. Interesting which works best. Anybody have anything to say about this hand? Everyone's really quiet. Can everyone hear me still? Yes. What if West opens? Right. Hang on. Let me look at all these. If West opens 2 diamonds, I don't think vulnerable against North can bid over 2 diamonds. It's just too much of a stretch. Well, you did very well to bid 5 diamonds over 4 spades. That's certainly not silly. Well, is 2 clubs, 2 diamonds is a control response helpful when you've actually got no points and shortages? You haven't really got any you haven't got. It's not that you've got high card controls. You just have a good hand when partner shows spades. I would open. Yes, well, obviously it might work better for strong club pairs, but it's a bit hard to really, since they have strong club pairs have all sorts of agreements that the rest of the world don't. So it's quite hard to really, for other people to gain from those auctions. Yes, well, if you do support diamonds, you do help them to get to 6 spades, but then you help yourself to sacrifice in 7 diamonds. So it's like 6 of one and half a dozen of another. I would open the West hand 2 clubs, but I could live with 1 spade. I don't feel that strongly about it. Okay, if we finished here, then 2 diamonds. Yes, but it's not enough. 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, double. That's what you'd bid if you took away the ace king of hearts and you took away the diamonds. I mean, you've got ace queen jack 10 to 5 diamonds. I think you double 2 diamonds. I mean, if you've got a 3 diamond bid, you bid 3 diamonds, I think. Right. And the last one now is board 15. So quite a lot of points of interest here. The first thing, so South would open 1 heart. That looks completely clear. So the first issue is whether or not West should bid 2 diamonds. Now, I absolutely hate bidding 2 of a minor on only 5 card suits. I just think it gets us wrong. We save at the wrong time and all that sort of stuff. But on this particular hand, it is such a pure hand, and I'm at favourable vulnerability that I would break my own rules and I would overcall 2 diamonds. And this could work well or it could work badly. I mean, if it went to heart pass and no trump pass 3 no trumps or something of that order, I would absolutely hate not to have bid 2 diamonds. But on the other hand, if it went to heart pass, a spade pass, and no trump pass 3 no trumps, I'd be glad I hadn't because I could lead them from the top. So it may or may not work, but all things being equal, I would bid 2 diamonds on this hand. North has a clear double. And now again, look at this East hand. For me, this is a 4 diamond bid. You've got 4 card support for what should be partner's 6 card suit. They haven't really found their fit yet. They don't quite know where they're going. Four diamonds just takes the space away. So that would be my choice, though I don't think anybody, I looked and I think people were bidding three diamonds. And now South has to do something. I suppose South's going to bid four hearts in practice. And that might no, that's not going to end things because North now knows they've got a fantastic hand because they've got Jack fourth of diamond. So I think North will probably just bid six hearts, to be honest. Just hope, because they know partner's void in diamonds. So partner must have sort of an opening bid or thereabouts in all the other suits, and practically everything's going to let them get there. It's quite interesting. Well, let's now look at how it goes if West passes, because does raise some interesting things. So it goes a heart, pass, a spade, pass. So South could bid two spades, two hearts, two clubs. I would go for two clubs. I think it's potentially a very nice hand, and I can. It doesn't limit it in the same. If I bid two hearts or two spades, that shows a minimum opening bid and could shut partner up when I didn't want him shut up. Whereas two clubs is virtually force. I mean, it isn't forcing, but it's got a much wider range, which suits me here. Now, I guess North's going to bid two diamonds, force suit to create a game force. Now, it's quite interesting what South should bid over two diamonds. For me, if two spades isn't really enough, two spades is what I would bid if I was 2-5, 2-4, the minimum hand. For me, I wouldn't have three spades probably for bidding two spades. I'd normally bid three spades with three. It's maybe here, I quite like, I didn't really think of it at the time, but I was asking a friend about what I thought South should bid over two diamonds, and they suggested they should bid four diamonds, which is quite an interesting possibility because it surely can't, I mean, it can't be natural because that would be three diamonds. So it must be a void. I mean, I can't see any other reason why you'd go there. And it must be either this shape or possibly 3-5-0-5. I can't really think of any other possibilities for it. So I really rather like that bid. It's a bit of an expert thing. Partner can bid five no trumps now, pick a slam. And on this actual hand, South will bid six hearts, whereas if they were 5-5, obviously they bid six clubs. So let me have a look. Yes, well, I think I've answered that. It is quite hard because but when partner bids this two diamonds, if you don't think of this four diamond bid, you don't really know what partner's interested in when they do four suit. If you rebid, I mean, I don't mind three hearts is in terms of values, but it overstates the heart suit. And, and bidding spades doesn't show six hearts. So it is quite tricky. You could bid a heart, a spade, three hearts, but I mean, you could be missing a much better. I mean, if partner's got a singleton heart and five spades, and maybe if they bid three no trumps over four hearts, I mean, you're just going to feel ill over three hearts. But I do rather like this four diamond. Well, North shouldn't bid three no trumps. When it goes, fourth suit doesn't really say, have you got a stopper? Fourth suit says, could you describe your hand a bit more clearly, partner, especially when it's only at the two level. So yes, North has a stopper, and yes, they might indeed play in three no trumps, and depending exactly how the bidding goes next, North might even bid three no trumps, but not three no trumps on a jack high suit at that early in the auction. Heart, two diamonds, double, pass, three hearts, pass. Well, I suppose I think I'd probably bid three spades on the North hand, on the hand you've given me. If South's jumped to three hearts, three spades must be, I mean, it can't be five spades, so it must be some sort of chunky suit and agreeing hearts. People play three diamonds, raising the fourth suit. I don't know quite what you mean by the punt bid. West bid 2 diamonds after 2 clubs. North doubles. I would have bid 3 spades before the 4 diamond bid was suggested. If West bid, so West bid on the second round at this table. That's really. I know there are a whole lot of people, the French in particular, and the French can maybe answer this. The French are very good at bidding on the second round of the auction on hands where I would always have bid on the first and never bid on the second. And because I wasn't brought up to do it that way, I don't really know. I'm not saying it's a bad way of doing it, but I just don't really get it. So, because I think the French like to have, full value things that they did in the first round. So if they're a bit weaker, that not really quite up to it, then they do it on the second round. Well, that probably works well, but it doesn't kind of work for me. Okay. Does anybody want to say anything more about this hand? Would anybody like to talk about another hand that was interesting at their table? Number 9. Okay, let's look at number 9. It looks like. Right, well, look at 9. Sonia, what did you want to talk? Why was number 9 interesting for you? I imagine it would go a spade from north. Again, whatever east fancies. Is it a good slam? No, it's not a good slam. Well, I don't think it's a good slam because you've definitely got a heart to lose, and you'd be very lucky to not lose the club trick. I mean, you need, assuming you're going to run the queen, you need them 2-2 with the king right as well as the finesse. So that definitely isn't a good slam. Spade. Yeah, I suppose it can be quite. I can see that. Well, I think they've sort of got the values for everybody to. I mean, you might play a 5 going down, I suppose, but I could see why you could get too high. Definitely. Everybody has their own methods over a spade 2 no, so I'm not so clear. It's not that easy to discuss. Me, most of my friends make me play this Swedish thing where 3 clubs is any minimum, etc., etc. But in which case you probably wouldn't call it. I mean, you'd probably go something like a spade 2 no, 3 diamonds, hearts, 3 spades. Would that show short diamonds? Well, that doesn't exactly turn South on terribly. South might bid 3 spades and might go 4 clubs, 4 diamonds, 4 spades, perhaps. What? Board 14. I'm going to go to board 14. Yes. This was exciting. Why did whoever talked about 14 want to do 14? Well, I was trying to do them in order. I think Dido wanted 14, and then I was going to do 10 next. So, Dido, what did you want to say about 14, or what did you want to ask about it? Yeah, you could see it being played in 2 spades doubled at both tables, I suppose. If East, how should it go? Well, it depends a bit. I suppose 1 spade opening by East looks a bit. It's good for hand for those sort of constructive weak 2s. Some people, including me, some of the time play. Going to go 2 spades. Well, I'm a bit of a 3 diamond bidder, really, but I can see double would have worked well. West. Oh dear, that's not very helpful, is it? Heaven knows what I bid. I would probably pass. Just hope something was going to happen. And it's just going to get passed out, I imagine. Sorry, I wouldn't have bid 3 diamonds. I was thinking about bidding 2 spades, which is why I said bid 3 diamonds. If it went 1 spade, I would just bid 2 diamonds. Sorry, that would be 2 diamonds. And now I like to bid 3 clubs rather than double on those things. That's sort of kind of my preference. Maybe 3 diamonds, 4 diamonds. I don't know. Too many imponderables. Right. I was just going to have a quick look at number 10. Well, West can either bid 3 clubs and then bid 3 hearts, or they can double. But often the trouble with double is that, you know, you're looking at that West hand. Slam's not a million miles out of the picture. And if I don't bid 3 clubs now, it's going to be difficult for me to bid the suit naturally at all. Partner bids 3 no trumps or something, and I don't know. If they bid 2 no trumps and I bid 3 clubs, is that forcing? Maybe not. Let me look at hand 10. What did Dina want to know about number 10? It looks like it would go pass, 1 spade, pass probably. It's a bit much for a vulnerable double. Maybe 2 spades, pass, pass. And then it depends on your personality probably. Again, I talked this over with a friend. I'm sure I would have doubled on this hand and we'd have played in 3 clubs. But I could understand not doubling. I mean, it is a pretty horrible hand, the West hand. So it's going to be played in 3 clubs, and I think that's quite likely to go 2 off, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you might get out for 1 off. Might survive. What would you bid as north over pass a spade double? I would bid 2 spades. Just about. Yeah. So you're on the edge, right? If you get out for 1 off in 3 clubs and nobody's doubled you, and indeed who would, then you've got a great ball. But if you go 2 down, well, that's a match pointed pairs thing, I suppose. As long as one of the contracts is making, you're okay at teams. It doesn't really matter. And if they're both making, then it's a good ball. But that's not going to be the case here. Okay. Does anyone else want to say anything, or are we done? Well, you're welcome. I'm sorry about my loss of power. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Excellent. Okay. Right. In 15, if there's passage, which was 15? Yeah, there is a case. The way people play 2 over 1, if you play that after a 2 over 1, a reverse doesn't show extras. So a heart, 2 clubs, 2 spades doesn't show extras. Then I like not bidding on game forcing hands, not bidding 4 card spade suits. I'd rather bid something at the 2 level, because it's the 4th bid in the auction will be cheaper usually if you start the 2 clubs makes it more economical. Okay. Bye then. Do I stop? Good night. Thank you for your attention.